Okay. Versatile Vigilante, Young Vince, Uncle Vinny. Got my fucking guy in the building, man. The legend. Film It Nate.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing great, bro. Really happy to have you in here, man.
I'm happy
Great to see
here.
you. It's been a while since I've seen you. You're fucking killing it. Inspiring me daily. Happy to have you here, bro.
Bro, thank you for having me. I want to say that first and foremost, man. We've been trying to do this for some time now and schedules and stuff like that, but I'm happy we get to take the time to sit down and have a real conversation. The first time we met, we had some good chats, and so I'm excited to dig into the podcast, and I've been a fan of what you've been doing for a while, so yeah, I'm really happy to be here, bro.
Likewise, bro. Something about you that I always fucked with is that you're a worker, man. Like, you just mentioned schedules and shit. When I see someone working, I'm always happy. Right. If we can't line up a schedule because you're working, bro, that's fire. Like, that means it's positive, you know?
Yeah, honestly, it's so important for me to not necessarily stay busy, but to be invested in the work that you're doing and the place you want to go. For me, it's when I set my mind to something, I obsess over it. You know what I mean? And that's how I've been from a young age. And so it's one of those things that, like, I'm always head down working on what I'm trying to build. And I always look to the future and figure out the steps to get there. I work it back, right? And so, yeah, always working is a real thing, man. Like, I wake up, I'm working. When I go to bed, I'm thinking about how I can map things for the future, and what I'm going to be doing the next day and these kinds of things. So, yeah, it's not one of those things where it's a cliche. Like, I actually live that, you know what I mean? And, of course, it's important to take time to rest and relax and stuff like that as well. But when I'm on top of things, it's go time,
100%, man. And, I mean, I could tell from the work you put out, you really enjoy what you do. You love what you do. Yeah. So I think you have to.
I think you absolutely have to love what you do. There's no point in doing something if you don't love it. You truly have to embody and embrace what you do, or else you may just be doing it for monetary value or clout, but you may not get where you want to be in life, and you may feel like unfulfilled when you do get what you think you're going to get out of what you're doing. So I think it's a big part of life to enjoy what you do, and not a lot of people get that luxury. Sometimes you're in circumstances where you have to try to maybe hunker down and work a job that you may not love. But if you have a passion outside of that, pour it all into that, man. It's so important. And that's how you'll get the best results, too, is loving what you do. Yeah.
Absolutely right, bro. I completely agree. And you know what? We mentioned before the interview that you said this was kind of your first time doing that full-length interview. So yeah. I do want to learn how you even got into the game. You're Film It Nate, bro. How did you pick up a camera in the first place? Tell us the origin story.
Yeah, I got you. So it actually didn't start with a camera. It started with stapling 5 pieces of paper together and creating storybooks when I was in, like, kindergarten, bro.
No way.
Yeah, that's how it started. In the first grade, my teacher, Miss Richardson, she put me in something called the author's chair. It was like this seat in class, and I got to read my book to the class, and that really sparked my confidence as a storyteller. From there, I think she got my book in, like, one of the libraries at the school, which is literally, it's 5 pieces of paper, but as a 6-year-old, that's such, like, a huge thing. It's like, yo, my book is in the school library. From there, I got inspired by early YouTube, right? So, like, Niga Higa, those skits and stuff those guys used to do back then. I thought it was such a cool thing that somebody can take their dad's camcorder, for example, put it on a tripod and just act with their friends and make a dope, at the time, like, film, right? It was like an indie film, but it really just is YouTube, which is super common now. But back then it was new, right? It was so new. And so I was inspired by that. I wanted to do it. My homies who actually did have a camera, they're like, nah, like, we're not really trying to do that, And so I saved up my money, bro. I saved up my birthday money and Christmas money and copped an open box camera from Best Buy. I still have the camera, still have the box. It was like $89. And yeah, that was the first camera I started shooting on. It was a Samsung point and shoot. I'd get my cousins and my friends to, like, just come and just act in my little skits that I put together. And it was dope because you can hit pause and play while you're recording. Okay. So it's almost like you're live editing. So I'd be like, yo, if I just had to film myself, I'll be on this side, I'll film it, and then I'll go to, like, pause it, run to this side, and kind of play 2 roles. And so that was a cool thing. And that kind of sparked my interest on the film side of things, right?
Got you.
From there, I I took literally every single media and film course I could in high school to kind of just verse my mind around it. And when I stepped in that class and seen, the Mac computers and different cameras and stuff and all that, that's where I was like, whoa, like this is like a really sick industry. Because prior to that, all I knew was YouTube, right?
Right.
And I had the decision when I was going to university, when I decided what I wanted to do for post-secondary, whether I wanted to go to university or film school, decided to go to university for business, right? Instead of going for film, because I figured I could teach myself the filmmaking. And when I got in school, I clicked up with some homies that were making music, and I had a pretty long run, which some people may know if they knew me before I had the moniker Film at Nate.
Okay.
So I was making music all the way up. I still do, but releasing all the way up until 2021, I think, 2022, thereabout. And I would always direct my own videos, make my own snippets, all that kind of stuff. And so the filmmaking, which was my first love, stayed with me, right? And COVID hit. I was uninspired when it came because I was just in my room, four walls. I was uninspired to make music. And at the time, I had a clothing brand as well where I was making like dope clothing, and I had a web series for it, right? And so that's where I learned consistency in filmmaking. So making literally every single week, I was making episodes for that web series that was supposed to lead to traction to the website to sell the merch and the clothes. And after 23 episodes, I cut it. And from there, people seen the work, seen the snippets that I was putting out. A friend of my brother's and mine hit me up, and he's like, yo, like, can you do a snippet for my video? And I was like, for my music video? I was like, yeah, bro. And I'm like, well, I guess I need a production company name. And then
Excuse me.
Vero Media was born from there. And and from there I just kept snowballing, doing different videos for different people, and kind of grown to where we are today, man. That's kind of a bit of a life background story.
Bro, you're on VersatileVigilante. That's a very versatile story that you just told, man.
Yeah.
Like storyboards, cameras, music, clothing, websites.
Yeah, man.
That's amazing, bro.
I'm one of those people where it's hard to pinpoint what you're good at.
Right.
I'm good at a lot of different things in the creative realm. And so I never limited myself. I always tried different things. And if I did, I put a lot of, like I said, I'm a head down type of guy. I put in work. So when I did release stuff to the public, it was really good. And so people took to that.
Right.
So when it came to the clothing, like the first drop we did was for Starter Pack, which was my artist name.
Starter Pack?
Starter Pack.
Okay.
Yeah, it was my artist name. It was merch for that, for like Starter Pack. But I'm like, well, I don't really want it to be attached to Starter Pack. Let me make Vero Apparel, which is like the apparel company that can put out Starter Pack merch, but also just put out regular clothing for people to consume.
Right.
So that's what we did, right? And I realized that although I love getting fly and looking drip and all that kind of stuff, it's like, yo, I think I have a bigger purpose than just creating clothes for people. Like, I can still do it for fun, and that's kind of where I continue to pick up on video and grow in that space. But going back to Vero Apparel, which is kind of the first Vero brand, right?
Right.
What really kind of sparked things was doing that web series called V-Tips. It was fashion tips that people can kind of get drippy and figure out ways to put their style together. And I would do that every single week. Once a week, would drop an episode. It's still up today on the account. And that's where I learned lighting. That's where I learned composition. That's where I learned different things along those lines outside of what I learned in high school, right? Because now I'm like, at that point, I'm like a grown man at that point, right? You know what I mean? And so it's like there's been a lot of years removed from actually like filming often, right? But I feel like that spark came back after COVID hit, and after I realized and got time to reflect that how do you serve others, right? When it comes down to music, I find it's very self-serving.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? But I felt like, how can I help others grow as a person or as a business, as an individual? And so that's kind of where the filmmaking, like the passion, sparked again and continued to where it is today. I know it's a roundabout kind of idea of the story, but there's a lot of facets and creative endeavors that I've been in or part of.
No, I love that, bro. I love the story you told. Even like a part that I really want to pick on. I really like that you said you were inspired by YouTube, because I think we're part of that generation that did grow up with the internet, but it wasn't as serious as it is today.
Yeah.
Like early YouTube, bro, was just crazy, like pure creativity with very little like budget typically. Like all those little viral videos from back in the day, it was all DIY.
Yeah.
YouTube now, there's billions of dollars in it. When it started, it wasn't like that, bro. So I love that you brought that up because that's a different time.
It was a different time, and that's what was so inspiring. Is that like creators like Niga specifically, because he did like how to be emo, how to be gangster, how to be ninja. How to be ninja was the first one, right? Yeah.
Yo, you just unlocked something. I haven't thought of those videos in years, man. Yeah, bro. That's like, crazy.
But that was huge for me because I'm like, yo, they're doing all these sick, like with the ninja one specifically, like they're doing all these like rehearsed like fight scenes and all that stuff, and it was funny. And I'm like, these are two guys that are not much older than me that like literally just got whatever they have in their house to create this video, and that inspired me. And so I've always wanted to do that. And so like I said, Saved Up for That Camera made that happen. And then now it's a different thing where it's more so working with companies to help them grow. It's not about me anymore. It's about who we're serving, right? And so you'll see a lot of different changes when it comes down to Vero Media in terms of who we serve, how we serve. But things that people don't see is we help on the strategy side of things. We do consult with different companies and stuff like that on how they can use content to help grow. We do tell their stories through mini documentaries and stuff like that, commercials. And so there's a lot from those days back then that I took that I applied to now, and bringing it back to YouTube as well. Bro, that's how I really learned filmmaking, like the professional side of filmmaking. So hobbyist YouTube was like when I was younger, right? Like just doing skits. But you know, YouTube now, the $1 billion machine, actually helped me. Is basically when people ask like, "Oh, did you go to school for this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I went to YouTube University. That's where I went." Right? Like that's how I learned kind of what I do today, from the lighting, storytelling, composition, all these things. It's from YouTube. Yeah,
absolutely, bro. It's given us those like there's no excuse anymore. Like if there's something you want to learn, especially in the art world, like there's someone that's done it that you could learn from, and it's free.
Yeah,
you know,
that's the beautiful thing about YouTube, man. Like honestly, there's nothing bad you can say about it. It's like anything you want to do in this world nowadays, you can figure out how to do it online through YouTube, through Skillshare, different platforms. But the resources are there. So now it comes down to us as individuals to put our heads down and make it happen. How motivated are we to do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's no longer the excuse of like, oh, like I can't afford to go to school to do it, or like, you know, other than potentially maybe like your parents being like, I don't support it or whatever. Like you can basically do whatever you want in this world, and that's a beautiful thing, right? Because like to know completely almost nothing about like professional filmmaking, to be on big sets and doing docu-series and things like that we are today, you know, in a span of a couple of years, learning all that stuff online is kind of it's a beautiful thing, you know.
100%, bro. And I really like what you said. I want to dig a little deeper into this too. When you said the music was kind of just like self-serving, the videos, there's like more community base, more offering. Was the appeal of working with more people really what kind of led you further into this path?
Yeah, you could definitely say that. Interestingly enough, when I really started trying to be like, okay, I want clients in filmmaking or video, I wasn't working with people. I was shooting product videos in my garage. Okay. So I'd like set up a set and like buy some like off-brand cans or new drink companies coming out and just make commercials in my garage. And as I continued in that, I realized that connection is what I was yearning for. And so then I started doing films on people, documentaries on people and fashion brands and stuff like that. But it did really start off in my garage, just like on some, this is what's accessible. I have the gear to do it, so I'm just going to do it. And but definitely bringing it back to music, I feel like as an artist, I guess specifically, let's say a hip hop artist that I was, it's all about you, right?
Yep.
It's all about you. It's about, okay, like they're shooting this video for you, the studio time's based on you and your song, your release, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like the type of person that I am, I'm always about others, right? Like,
Right.
how can I bring all of my friends up? So, like, even today, like, I hire all my friends. Like, on our shoots, all my friends are there, right? So, it's like, I was never a person where it was all about me, but you almost have to portray that. And it felt, as I grew older, the lifestyle, the things I was rapping about, it no longer it no longer was who I was, really. As you grow older, you evolve, you change. And yeah, I wasn't doing partying anymore. I wasn't chilling out late. I wasn't doing this and that. And so, how could I still be rapping about that? And funny enough, when I speak to people about this, they're like, well, you can just change the music subject, the subject matter. And I'm like, I definitely can, but that's why I took a step back from releasing anything, because it's like, I still need to grow as a person and as an individual before I start releasing again. So eventually, yeah, I'll start releasing again. But right now, the main focus is growing this company, because the bigger vision is to teach others how they can do the same, right? And so, yeah, Vero Media is where we're at with it.
Shout out Vero Media, man. That's a very admirable thing, because I think when you make the decision of, I want to, not necessarily put people on, but develop a community, develop a bit more of a team, you are putting yourself to the back a little bit, and it takes balls to do that, man, because the attention's not going to be on you all the time, and you got to deal with that, and I think that's for the greater good too.
Yeah, honestly, we can't all be the star, you know what I mean? And we don't all have to be the superstar. There's so many key players in every industry that play the behind the scenes role that make the biggest plays, right? And if you want to talk monetary, make the most money and all that kind of stuff, right? And so for me personally, it's like, as I grew and got older and started being more introspective and just kind of knowing myself a lot more, I realized, I don't want to be in the spotlight. I don't like taking photos. I don't want to be like, which is ironic because I'm behind a camera all the time, right? But like, I just want to be in a chill position. I don't want to have to worry about being stopped if I blow up or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, so I'm like, nah, like, my first love was filmmaking, right? And so let me go back to my roots and just grow that. Yeah.
Super relatable, bro. I think about that with myself too, where I often think we're kind of told that bigger is always better. We're kind of told that, you got to be at everything, everywhere, and nah, man, you're a person first. Like you said, you want to grow as a person.
Right.
You're not a product.
Definitely not. And there's nothing wrong in life with pivoting, bro.
Yes.
Like, you don't always have to stay the same course because you said it when you're 5 years old, or when you're 12 years old, or 25 or whatever. Like, you can change and evolve, and that's just a part of growth, right? That's a part of life. Everything grows and evolves. And so, for me personally, like I said, COVID was a big turning point where I just realized, like, okay, like, I think I want to do something a little different. You know what I mean? I've changed as a person. And so the work started to reflect that. Leaned heavily into growing the company and building that and creating opportunities for others, whether it's the brands that we're working with or my team, right? The people that I work with on set and stuff like that. So now I'm really proud of where we are. We're in a position where people are happy to be a part of, the different sets that we're on, the brands that we're working on. People, like crew members tell me, like, man, like, this is like amazing. I couldn't have thought of myself in this position, and so that kind of touches my heart, because it was always about community. It was always about growth and putting my friends on and shit like that. Can we swear on this?
Oh, please swear as much as you like, bro. Uncensored, unfiltered, bro. No, you're absolutely right, man. And it's funny because I met you kind of at that Rhozeland event. Shout out Rhozeland. That was a very dope like community event, and just in that one space, there was people from all different backgrounds in the city doing their thing, fashion, music, videos, everything. And that's inspiring, bro, because we see a lot of bullshit, for lack of a better term, like breaking each other down and bullshit again.
Heck yeah.
Something like Vero Media, something like Rhozeland, like, these are great resources for the city to have to show. No, there's people that really just want to do cool shit and have fun with each other,
Yeah.
Very, very important.
I want to say big shout out to Rhozeland. They're like,
shout out Rhozeland, man.
Media, man. So that's like their family, you know what I mean? And we came together with that same shared vision of just like putting putting out something that the community can interact with and grow together, right? There's a lot of in our city specifically, or the GTA, whatever you want to call it, like there's a lot of like gatekeeping, and there's a lot of like people like egos and stuff like that. And we want to kind of tear those barriers down. Like they're like we can all eat, you know. The reason why I love filmmaking as well is there isn't that, or I haven't experienced that myself. You know, people share tips all the time with me. I share tips all the time with them. If I have a gig that I feel like doesn't quite fit, I'm happy to hand it off to the next cinematographer or anything like that, because you know, you don't know what that's going to do for them. And if it's not necessarily in your realm, why not give somebody else the opportunity if that's what they're good at? You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
And yeah, so with the creative meet and greet with partnered with Rhozeland, we just wanted to bring a bunch of creatives in the same place or same space and have them interact with each other. If you look at a lot of the sort of creative mediums, there's a lot of meshing, right?
Right.
So, you know, music artists need video production companies, right? They also need fashion, right? They could potentially need art. All of these things kind of culminate and come together. And so that's what we wanted to do, is bring all these people together to network with each other, meet new people from different walks of life that you could potentially collaborate with in the future. And we did 3 volumes so far, and we're still continuing. And we're just proud of where we started, which you came out to the first one, so you're a real one for that.
OG shit.
Shout out Vince from Versatile, man. He pulled up, and yeah, it's something that we want to continue doing, just to show people that we can all come together no matter what walk of life or what medium creatively you're from, and we can all build stuff together.
Honestly, bro, like those types of nights inspire me, because I've always felt there's no lack of talent in Toronto. It's just we gotta like come a little closer and be willing to fucking put some of that ego to the side and understand it might not have to happen tomorrow, but if we build this network, we could be sustainable forever, man.
Exactly. That's the thing. And you hear like artists talk about it all the time, the difference between, you know, Toronto and the States, right? It's like
especially Atlanta.
Oh, come on.
We can be in Atlanta.
We can be. And I'd even say New York. Like when I went out there, at this point when I was making music, I went out there to shoot we went out there to perform, and we shot a music video like in Times Square, and the amount of people that came out to us like, yo, like what? You guys rappers, like what's going on? It was like, yo, we've never got that here. You know what I mean? Like never, right? And so it's like, obviously you don't let that kind of stuff get to your head, but it feels good that people support and wanted to follow you on the gram and see what's up. People are showing so much love out in New York, right? And I feel like if we could have some of that here, which we're starting to grow as a creative community, we are growing, and there's different you know, organizations that are doing things to bring people together. But like I said, we got to stop the gatekeeping, man. We got to stop having a scarce mentality or mindset that like, oh, if I show this person this tip or this trick, that I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna lose all my sauce or I'll never get this client. It's like, bro, if you're good enough, you can do it over and over again. You can create new stuff, and you can, you know what I mean? It doesn't hurt you. It helps the other person. You know what I mean? If we can all be great, we can create a mega city like in Atlanta or New York right here in Toronto. And so, yeah.
I completely agree, bro. It's funny because I've said this on the podcast before. Toronto's had a little brother complex forever. Word. Like even with like a sports team, you'll think, oh, they'll never sign here. Yeah. Or like, oh, they're going to want to trade. And it's like, bro, you can't think like that all the time. You can't just think, oh, there's only one spot to have. No, we got to think bigger, man. Because yo, New York's a fucking huge place, man. There's people doing their thing all over that damn city, and there's always room for one more.
There always is.
Here too.
And you know what? If you let people in, you get new perspectives on things, right? So, if you think about like filmmaking, there's like, I come from a different background that somebody else might come from, and they have different perspective. I learned everything I know in filmmaking and my inspiration from YouTube, right? So I don't look up to like Hollywood directors and stuff like that. Like I really don't even know about them, to be honest. I watch movies because I enjoy them. I don't go look in the credits for like, yo, who's this guy? Who shot this? Don't really care. You know what I mean? I like the art. But in terms of my technical aspect and looking up to different DPs and stuff like that, that's all online, like YouTube. You know what I mean? That's where I learned everything. So those are my favorite like creators and cinematographers and DPs. It's on YouTube. And if somebody comes from a different walk of life, they can now kind of impact the game in a different way, because they may see something completely different than you've ever thought you would ever see it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so we have to keep the doors open for the next guy that's coming up, for the next youth that's coming up, because their ideas also matter, and their ideas can change the landscape of everything, you know?
Exactly.
And so realistically, like my goal when I'm all said and done with like Vero Media, it's a sustainable company, is to take a step back from being on set, have that do its thing and run. But I really want to start up a creative space for youth ages 12 to 24 to learn the fundamentals of filmmaking, business, fashion, music, and utilize those skills to create opportunities for themselves. I feel like it's very easy in the city for us to be to like, you see it in the youth sometimes. It's cooler to be a gangster, or cooler to be
the bad shit gets the focus.
Yeah, it gets the focus.
Yeah.
And I understand like people come from circumstances that like they don't have a choice, but there are kids that I know that chose to take a certain lifestyle. You know what I mean?
It's scary to admit that, but it's true.
And it's got to stop. You know what I mean? We don't want to perpetuate that. Like the people that are in that situation, I'm sure, are working to try and get out of that situation.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go in? You know what I mean? And so if I can show youth that, it's also cool to be like a business owner, or to be the cinematographer kid that geeks out over cameras, or to maybe not be the artist, like the rapper, but be the manager or be the agent that can help him get the other guy lit. Like there's nothing wrong with that, right? And so we don't always have to be the rapper or the ball player or the hood guy. We can be like other things outside of that, even in a creative space, or you can be a plumber if you want. Like
exactly,
the world still needs that stuff. Facts, too, right? Bro. Like, and so just I want that creative space to show, like eventually create that creative space for the youth to see, like, there's more ways that you can grow in life and evolve and impact, and not only have to take the traditional route of like getting on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely right. You're thinking bigger, man. Thinking long term, like. With the especially the music, I feel kind of like a hypocrite because I like some of that gangbang music. I like some of that, you know. But then it's like, bro, if you're potentially risking your life over this type of music, you know, what's the point of this? Like, what's the end game here? Whereas you can do something safer, you can do something where you can grow at it, have more success, make more money, like. I just think the focus is way too short-sighted right now. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, I think the secret to like longevity and any business or venture that you do is having that far-sight vision.
Yeah.
Looking a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years in advance, and like what do you want that to look like? I feel like nowadays youth don't even think about that. They just they barely think about tomorrow. It's just the now, and that's scary because making decisions of the now and not thinking about how that's going to affect your future, like it can really create some rash decisions that may have some implications that you may not be able to come back from, and that's the scary part. But I think if people are able to see people that look like them, talk like them, come from where they come from, whatever, that are doing other things, I feel like that can also help have an impact on, say, youth specifically, and change their trajectory. So like, that's a dream of mine, is to one day create that space for you to come in and learn a different way of doing things. And so, it's a part of the reason why I'm motivated to go so hard in what I do and learn as much as I can, so I can, pass that on to the next generation when the time comes, man. And I do so now in terms of wherever I can. Like I taught actually director CJ Mayers and I.
Oh, CJ, man. Shout out CJ. Love that guy.
We'll get to him in a sec because we got some stuff in the works coming up. But me and CJ actually went to school together.
No way.
Yeah, we were in the same film class.
That's a talented film class, man.
Bro, you won't believe who came out there. I know I'm digressing, but like, so 4 of y'all came out of there, right?
Okay.
4YE. CJ, myself, Tory Lanez, like a lot of people came out of Fletcher's, bro. So shout out Fletcher's.
Fletcher's, that's a famous place for sure.
So shout out Fletcher's in their film program, because that's where I had my true love for film.
Right.
Where I developed it. That's where I met CJ, and CJ put me on an opportunity to with Gallery 226. It was called Lead to Change.
Shout out to Gallery 226, right down the street.
Yeah, exactly. And so they had a thing called Lead to Change, and yeah, we got to lead the film program. And so it was the first time I actually got to teach. It was a class of 5 students, but regardless, we had to create the lessons plans, and at the end, the students were able to create films. And the dope thing is that, you know, one of the students went off to Paris for film school, and it was cool because I got to hire him to come on and do a set with us, one of our biggest sets before he left to go to Paris for film school. Another student is actually going to be coming on set with us to shoot BTS. That's awesome. On the film that CJ and I are developing. So it's really cool to see how what you've done, the time you took out of your day, impacted the next generation of filmmakers or creatives, right?
Exactly, bro. And you know what's sick? Like, you didn't see it immediately. It's not like when you show someone something or you help with something, you don't get immediate gratification from it. You just have to trust that, you know, you're doing good shit. And then, thankfully, sometimes a situation like that comes up where it's like, holy fuck, man. Yeah. Really did make an impact.
Honestly, beautiful to see. You don't know what you're in it. And that's the thing, too, with growing anything. It's hard to see it because you're in it, right? You're just doing it. You're watering the
plant all day. The seeds are being watered, bro.
Exactly, but it's always important to kind of take note of what you've done, where you've come from, and how you've grown. And I feel like personally, I didn't take note of how I impacted those students until they told me.
Yep.
They're like, "Yo, man, like that was like we were really happy to be a part of that." And I was like, "Damn, like that's inspiring for me just to know that we've impacted people like that, you know?" And so, it's hard to, while you're in it, to see what you're doing and the impact you're having. But I'm always reminded when I go back and look at previous work, or when people tell me, "Yo, you're really doing it, man." It's like, it's good to just take a breath and realize, you know.
Absolutely right, bro. It's like a balance of, because we talked about like always working, and I feel that way too. But I also definitely feel that it's very important to take that step back and appreciate what you've done, man. Like, you're never where you want to be. I think that's human nature, but you can't ignore the work you've put in, bro.
You can't, bro. It's so important. And one thing I do to kind of keep my vision aligned with where I want to go is as I read a vision map. I try to read that every morning, you know what I mean? And it just outlines everything that I want in the future in terms of what I'm trying to build and grow, so that I'm always aware of why I'm making the decisions I'm making. If somebody asks me to go out and I can't do it because I'm working, there's a reason why, right? There's a bigger purpose. And so I would employ anybody to do that. It doesn't have to be a full-on document. It could just be a couple notes on a pad, like what you're working towards. I think it's super important to know what you're working towards, because that's going to be the stepping stones, the groundwork to getting to where you want to be. And so,
completely agree, man. I completely agree. Journaling, all that type of shit.
Yeah, some people may think it's corny, but bro, like, I feel like
it helps, man.
It does, man. I have probably 8 notebooks, bro. Like, as soon as I fill it up, I'm on to the next. Facts. You know what I mean? And it's like,
bad notebooks right
let's
there.
Go. You know, and it's so important because, here's the thing. Like, you'll get a vision that's so powerful, and you don't write it down, you might forget it in 10 minutes. You might forget it by the next day or whatever. And it's like, you write it down, at least it's somewhere concrete. You know what I mean? And I employ people to write it down and not type it out. Well, you can, but write it down, because like that commitment of actually penning it down, it's there. Real. It lives there. It's real. It's not going to get wiped out by anything. Yep. It's always there as long as you have that book or that piece of paper. And I think it's so big just looking at it. And for me personally, looking back on old notes from when I was in university and not wanting to be there, what I was thinking, what the mind state was like. And you could see it, but then you can also see like remnants or trails of what I was planning to do now, right? So if I go back to like 2018 notebooks and stuff like that, you'll see, like production company one day. Bro, like, but at the time I was making music. You know what I mean? Yep. I just knew. I was just like, okay, like one day I'm going to come back to film, and this is boom, production company. But when I said yes to doing my brother's friend's video, I wasn't thinking production company at the time. I was still making music and doing fashion. You know what I mean? It was just like Like film was something that was always with me, but it wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna just build a production company. But I'm like, well, I guess this is go time. You know what I mean? Here we
Absolutely,
go. Boom,
bro.
Vero Media. Yeah. So it's good to write things down. It's almost like for me, I guess you can say I believe in manifestation, but to a certain extent, I feel like I believe in putting it down because it's there, but I feel like you also have to work towards it. Like it's not just write it down and it's just gonna magically appear to you. It doesn't work like that.
Exactly.
But so if you consider that manifesting or just working towards your goal, whatever you consider that, I believe in that, and I think it's good for people to do it.
I completely agree with you, bro. I really relate to what you said right there because, you know what? It's like, when, especially with the writing, you kind of see like, oh, I knew kind of what I was trying to do. It's just maybe didn't know how to get there yet. And then over time, you build.
Yeah.
You look back on it like, fuck, man, like it works.
Exactly.
You know, it actually works.
And that's the whole point of like, say, journaling, notebooking, whatever you want to call it, is like, you put it there, you put the big vision there. Because sometimes we're even afraid of our big vision. We're afraid to even say it because we're like, how are we going to even make that happen? It's like, nah, put it out there, right? And then work it back. I'm a big believer in that for anything I do is like, put the thing there, then figure out how you're going to work it back from where you are now.
Yep.
These are the steps. Because like, if it's like, yo, I just want to make $1 million, it's like, okay, like everyone wants to make $1 million. Like that'd be nice, sure. But it's like, okay, if you put a concrete number of what you want to make, how much are you making now? Okay, like what kind of things can you do?
You can put a plan together, man.
You can put a plan together, and that's so important.
Yeah.
I think for anything, and that mentality also helps me when I'm creating concepts for commercials or documentaries and things like that. I do something that I call like a what if statement, and I put what if and ... The video has, boom, strobe lights. The video has a projector. The video is shot on a boat. The video is in a different country. And I just list off all these things. And then I start storyboarding from that and trying to put those in the storyboard. And I try not to limit myself at that point because I'm like, okay, if I put it there, somewhere in my mind, in my subconscious, I'm thinking of, I know I can get it somehow, right? I just have to now work it back. How can I work it back and figure out how to get that? And so that's how I like formulate all of my ideas for my films and like productions and stuff like that, is like, this is the big idea, the what if, there's this, and then it's okay, like I put it in my storyboard and then work it back. And now I can make that thing happen.
You're absolutely right, bro. I really like how you described that because you have to put the work in anyway. Like the steps can never be skipped.
Yeah.
When you put it down on paper, you at least can see it. You know, it's huge. It's fucking huge. I think it's a loophole, bro.
Yeah.
That was my buddy. We had like a little bachelor party in the summertime at a cottage, and I'm like, it just hit me like I gotta go. I just needed to go write shit down. Yeah. And a couple of the homies were like, "Yo, that actually helps." Yeah, I'm like, it fucking does, bro. And I could see they were like, "Okay." You know, it's
think,
real shit.
Yeah, you wouldn't think, but it's worth a try. You know what I mean?
Man.
It's worth a shot if you haven't. If anyone out there hasn't done it, try it, man. Put something in a journal or on a piece of paper, and try and work towards it. And you'll be surprised what you can do in a year's time of just straight working on your passion. And that's what I find is a beautiful thing about growth.
Yo, Nate speaks my language, bro. Fucking love it, man. I love this type of shit. I love it, man. And yo, you're working with CJ now. Give us a little bit. You don't have to go deep into the plot of the film or anything like that, but kind of how'd that come together? I know you've known each other for a minute.
Yeah.
How'd you lock in to do this project?
Yeah, so let's take it back to high school. So CJ was one of the homies. He's a year younger than I am.
Okay.
But the film course was merged in high school. And so we were in the same class, and we got to chopping it up. And at that time, he was writing. He was writing a book, and he showed me this website. Still don't even know what the website is called, but he showed me a website where his book was on there, and you can actually like read it. I was like, yo, this is sick. Like, and so we got cool since then. And then after I graduated, went to uni, like I moved to Toronto for the most part. I was there for 5 years.
Okay.
So I wasn't in contact. But there was an event that happened to CJ, kind of unfortunate with the situation. I don't know if he talked about it.
He did, yeah.
So we don't really need to get into that.
Yeah.
But an unfortunate event that happened, and I reached out to him, and then we kind of just got cool since then. And then when he seen I was filming, he asked me to shoot some BTS on one of the films he was working on then, called 321.
Yep.
So I did the BTS for 321, loved it, and he then brought me out to do another BTS of a documentary he was doing called Knowledge is Power that talked about injustice in the Peel's district school board system and stuff like that. Shot some BTS for that. And then from there, he's like, bro, I want you to shoot my next film, right? And so he had the idea for his film. That one was called If Only. And so he did that, and I got to DP it, which it was my first time DPing a film for somebody else, right? I've done my own short film, but it was the first time doing it for somebody else, and because of him, I got that opportunity, and it was huge, right? And I learned a lot. And so now he's working on a new film called Loophole. And I don't know if you've seen it online, but he's working on this new film.
I'm excited for that.
It's going to be dope. It's a short film. It's going to be his longest piece. It's going to be my longest piece that I'm DPing. And so I'm really excited. You know what I mean? CJ is one of those visionaries that, like, his vision is so fast, and he's so passionate about the creation, about the word, about culture and things like that. And he finds a way to incorporate it in his films. And I'm happy to know him. He's a good friend of mine, and he trusts our work and the level of production. And so, yeah, I'm excited to be doing that. We're actually going to be starting filming 2 weeks from now.
Oh, I'm excited, man.
So right now it's a lot of work going into a lot of meetings that we be having and stuff like that. I'm actually linking him tomorrow to go do some location scouting and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yo, you got to bring his water bottle back. It's been in here for like 6 months,
actually?
bro. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
There we go. I love that.
No way.
Yes. That's fucking hilarious.
So,
I love that you're working together, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
You know what I found, like, in kind of like this now new, like, adolescent stage of, like, getting older, it's like, it's so important to connect with people that are, you know, they can have opposing views, but, like-minded and are working towards something.
Yes.
Right? I feel like when you're younger and you're, like, in high school and whatnot, you're just chilling with whoever. It's just because, like, you know what I mean? It's like you're not as, like, on top of things and as focused as you are when you get older. And it's like you're trying to build a future at this point.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so CJ is one of those sort of, like-minded individuals. You are one of those like-minded individuals where it's like, yeah, I don't mind linking because it's like, I know there's value exchange in any time we speak, right?
Gotta be productive, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to just sit around and fucking do nothing, man.
Facts.
We can have a great conversation where maybe we didn't, like, create something, but, you know, that could really help.
Yeah, like, I have homies, like the dudes that I used to be making music with, they're still good friends of mine. You know, sometimes we do link, and before we used to be linking doing bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Like, now we link, it's like, yo, we might just chill and just have a conversation over a beer or something like that.
Real
you know what
shit.
I mean? Like, on some just because that's where we are right now. It's like, it doesn't always have to be going out and partying and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that if people are doing it. It's cool, right? But the position I am in life right now, it's like, I can't afford to be hungover the next day.
Facts.
And forgetting what I got on my schedule and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So it's like, I gotta pick and choose when I decide to celebrate and when I decide to just kick back and relax. And so, yeah.
You're absolutely right, bro. That's part of growing up, man. I think that leads to what we were saying at the beginning. Like, for you, skipping out on partying is not a loss. Like, it's to do something I like better.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
I never feel bad about it. I can't, because it's like I'm building something
Rather
here.
do
It's
this.
like, yeah, if somebody's offended by that, then, I mean, I guess they just don't support what I'm trying to do, and that's fine.
That's it, man. Right? Yeah. That's a great way to look at it, too.
Yeah.
You're not here to agree with everyone. Not everyone has to agree with you.
I know, exactly. The other thing, too, is, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I also believe in, like, it's like self-care, like taking time to yourself and the people you love, being around them, and just like, you know, like, life isn't only about the destination that you're working towards. Like, although I'm a head down guy, I do know when to say, you know what, like, let me just chill. You know, today I'm just doing nothing. And when I say doing nothing, I might just watch movies all day, or I might just go out and hike or something like that, or it's like, today I'm just chilling. You know what I mean? And so there's nothing wrong with that. I think that helps reset your mind. It helps with your balance, all these kinds of things. But when it's go mode, it's go mode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely right, bro. Mm-hmm. Smiley has a song that came out recently where he's like, she want to celebrate, but right now I'm not celebrating. I'm like, yo, that's how it is sometimes. Yeah. Like, sometimes you're in a work mode. Sometimes you're in a party mode. Sometimes you're in a fucking lazy mode. Yeah. Like, that's life, bro. We're not humans. Right. That's one thing I think. Like, yo, all these algorithms, all this other shit, these stats, all that. Cool, bro. We're human at the end of the day, man.
Yeah.
You're not a fucking robot.
Exactly. And I think it's best to not fault ourselves if we do slip up. Like let's say you're like, yeah, you know what, this weekend I'm on a bender or whatever. It's like, whatever, all right, cool. But like, make sure you're just back to your stuff on a Monday.
Exactly.
Make sure, as long as you can come back to it, to like what you're growing towards, it's all good. Because like, honestly, we're only here for a finite amount of time, right? We don't know how long we're going to be here for. So you got to enjoy life and what it offers. And so there's so many beautiful things if you just open your eyes and look. Conversations like these, the leaves falling. It sounds corny, but it's beautiful to see. Man. You know what I mean? And so there's more to life than just work. But at the same time, work is very important if you're trying to build a future. And so it's just finding the balance between those.
Real shit. It is a balancing act, man.
Yeah.
No avoiding that. Very real, bro. I one of my favorite things that I saw on your IG, I had to creep before the interview, you know. Yeah. I really enjoyed your like kind of tutorial videos. Like I even saw you had a Polaroid like ad. Yeah. That was fucking dope, bro. Yeah. And how did those come about? Like I think that's just such a huge resource in itself for someone. Right. What was kind of the inspiration to do something like that?
Yeah, so specifically, it's funny you bring that up because that's something I'm trying to grow now is the teaching aspect, because I told you that's a goal I want to do when I'm said and done with being on set and running the business myself. It's teaching. And so right now it's kind of the fundamentals of learning how to teach, which is, it's a hard thing. You know, we don't consider it, but explaining things in a way that's simplified enough for people to understand depending on their knowledge prior, right? And so specifically with the Polaroid thing, that's a spec ad. And what a spec ad is a project you decide to do yourself. So the company's not paying you, nothing like that. You take the product or the whatever and you make your own commercial. You have your own creative freedom. And so I was in my room one day and I was literally bored as hell. I'm just like, yo, like I have this Polaroid that my grandpa gave me, like, screw it, let's just make a little film thing, a little commercial. So I literally took, I think you see it in the video, like I took this little like pen spinner thing, put a board on it and just shined a light and edited it to make it look dope. And that was really cool because actually Polaroid got back to me. They're like, sick video. Yeah. So that was dope. That was early, like really early on when I was doing product stuff. And so that was really cool to get that kind of look from them. But I think with the tutorials, you'll be seeing a lot more of those because it's important for me to kind of push out what I know, like just tell people what I've learned along the way. And it's also a great way for people to be a part of the journey, right? Like I don't know everything about filmmaking. I'm gonna say it again, I learned everything on YouTube and practice. I didn't mention the practice part, but YouTube and practice. Yep. That's how I know what I know.
That's the
you
diet.
Like what you see out there, that's how I did it, right? Is YouTube and practice. So YouTube is the learning, right? And practice is the practice. You can call it your test or whatever. And those two things in tandem, if you find the right teachers and you actually apply what you've learned, you'll be surprised on how much you can push your craft, whether it's filmmaking, whether it's music. Same thing with music, right? Practice and learning. Like we should never stop learning as individuals. Yep. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So now it's learning, it's doing, and it's teaching. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
I love it, man. I think that's a great, I hope to see more of that. I enjoy that content. And also too, I could see that you're experimenting with different like ways of filming in each tutorial too. It's like a double, like, I'm going to put this knowledge out there. I'm also going to try some shit. You know? I like that.
It really helped. It like practice in filmmaking is huge. And so that's my practice. And I've done practice a lot more than people see online. It's just that it's like sometimes it's like, oh man, I gotta set up the camera or I gotta get someone to film. So it's like I'm always practicing behind the scenes, but now it's like, okay, I'm making it a duty to be like, all right, like let me film it, put it together for other people to see and understand how we do the things we do and how they can do it as well, right? And so right now I'm doing this thing called the One Light Challenge where I just released a video on it, got another one coming, where I'm making like film looks out of one light. And that's the challenge, is how creative can you get with the one light to be like, okay, like, because not everyone is going to have a full set of lights. Like now I built the company up to where it's like we have a lot of equipment, right? But starting off, I literally had one light. It was a ring light. You know what I mean? Yep. And so it's like, how creative can you get with the one light? And so that's why I'm doing the One Light Challenge. And hopefully one day the company that I'm doing it with or doing it about, the brand that I'm using is called GVM. Usually they're kind of like a cheap Amazon kind of thing, but they've been putting out sort of like pro lights and stuff like that now. And I copped a light from them that is like mind blowing for the price and the output of what it can do. 600 watt light, 650 watt light, and so it was dope because I put that first video out, the one light challenge using the GVM 650B, and they actually commented on it, which is dope to just think of the reach you can get with different brands and stuff now. So putting it out there, we're gonna be partnering hopefully.
GVM, let's get a deal, bro.
Let's get it, bro. Let's, you know what I mean. Let's do some more one light challenges, and maybe they can sponsor the next film.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, man. I love that, and that's a great challenge. Make the most of your, like, I feel like when you can make the most out of having not much, when you get more shit, you can go crazy. Like, you really know how to use the tools.
Well, that's why I was complimenting you on
Appreciate
the setup
that,
and stuff
bro.
like that you got here, is because it reminds me of like when I first started. I told you I had the web series called V-Tips. I was shooting on my iPhone and a ring light, and on YouTube I learned how to make a DIY softbox with the ring light. I put the ring light in a cake pan, and I put like a bed, what was it, like a curtain on it. Still have it, and that was my softbox, bro, with an iPhone. And I just had some lights in my room that are already there, turn those on, and boom, like that was my set. And if you go on the account and you go to the first video, you'll see how like mid it looks. But back then it was so huge because I did the thing right. I wanted to make a web series about fashion tips to lead back to more traffic to the website, and that's what we did. And so you got to start small. You got to start somewhere, really. If you want to be great at what you do, start with what you have. Especially in filmmaking, our phones are like the most powerful tool you can ever have. You're shooting this on your phone, which is amazing. Shit. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have all the equipment. You don't have to have all the gear. And sometimes on YouTube, they'll lead you astray into thinking you need all that stuff. But, bro, it's like your camera in your pocket is 4K, so go out and shoot some stuff. You know what I mean? And so that's how I started. That's how a lot of people I know started, and you can grow from that. It's learning the fundamentals first, and then you can kind of carry on from there.
Absolutely right, bro. I love to hear that. That shit inspires me because I think the same way.
Right.
I think the same way. And you know what? Even if we go back to like those early YouTube days, I don't know if we watched the videos for the camera quality. We didn't watch the videos for the, the production value. We watched it for 240p. That's what I'm saying, bro. And those were fire.
Yeah. You know? It was definitely not about production quality. It was about the laugh. For me personally, it was about the laugh. Yeah. I was sitting there binging that stuff because it was so funny. You know what I mean? You had people also like, what were they called? Like BYOB. They would do like the rapper cartoon skits. They were the early creators of that stuff. There were so many people, even for Y'all Entertainment. Like they were kind of like after the first wave, like the kind of like the mid wave, like the mid 2000s wave of it. I guess 2010s, 2012s kind of area, but still like they were pretty early creators on YouTube as well.
You remember Tourette's guy?
Tourette's guy, was that the dude? Hold on,
he would wear a neck brace and just he didn't actually have Tourette's. Like today it would not fly. But like in those days, fucking he would just swear and have like these ridiculous like statements. Fucking hilarious, bro.
I remember him. Oh, I don't remember Tourette's guy, but I do remember a dude. He used to drink like a full bottle of alcohol.
Oh man, I know exactly.
He had blue eyes and everything was blue. What was his name?
Exactly what you're talking
about. That guy was wild.
He was fucking crazy.
Yeah, he was crazy.
Shoe nice.
Yeah, Shoe Nice.
Crazy.
Yeah, Ownage Pranks was a huge one. I still watch him. Like I'd be like literally it's like 12 o'clock at night. Like yo, I should be sleeping right now, but I'm watching like Ownage Pranks just because like yo, I grew up on that stuff. It's funny. You know what I mean? Those guys like Timothy De La Ghetto and like you know what I mean. There's a lot of like early creators, and it was just about the comedy. It was just about the fun. Now it's like you said, it's a big machine, and there's sponsors, and which isn't. I guess you got to make your money how you make your money, right? It is what it is, and it of course the production quality is a lot better than it was, but back then it was a lot simpler, a lot more simplified. It was just this is the thing I'm putting out, and I'm not worrying about sponsors or views. I'm just putting it out, and that's what made it viral, and that's what made it interesting too.
I agree, bro. I think if we could take that, well, for me at least, like the DIY spirit, and then you level up with the production, I think that's when you have something. If you just rely on high quality shit, like we see it in like Hollywood movies now, like all these explosions and the like looks cool, but there's no story. There's no
It's a big thing with like the LED walls too now.
Yeah.
That they're doing is there's no story involved, right? It's just about this. It's not even the aesthetics. So you're not shooting at the actual place, right? It's just like I just have a big vast screen. It's big, yeah.
That's it.
And it's not about big. And really with Vero Media, like it's built on that kind of like nimble DIY stuff is because that's how I built it.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, some stuff is not going to be like to standard of like how they would do it on a huge set, but we get stuff done and we make it look great for the clients that we work with, and that's what's important.
That is what is important.
And the impact, right? Like the impact that it has on their business is really what I'm about. And so like that's how we do it. Is doing what we know and pushing the envelope that way, and that's how we grow a lot quicker than if we try to just jump in the deep end and swim.
Absolutely, bro. You're doing it your way. You're doing it at your pace.
Heck yeah.
Fucking love it. Is Vero, you have a team.
Yeah.
You want to shout out the team?
Shout out the team, bro. So we like the team is, you want the names? Let's go.
Versatile Vigilante, bro. Let's show some love.
Versatile Vigilante. Shout out my homie, Albie. He's usually camera op on a lot of our projects. Shout out my homie, Logo. He's usually gaffing, and he helps with helping me with ideas with directing and stuff like that.
Dope.
Shout out Saida. She's creative director and BTS and stuff like that. Shout out, who else do we got? Audio, that's from Rhozeland usually, so Dizzy comes out for audio, Marv, as well as my homie Martian, he does audio for us as well. He's not a part of Rhozeland, but he also
met him at the event.
Heck yeah. We used to make music together.
Dope.
Yeah, so shout out Martian. Who else do we got? Boom, boom. I'm just trying to like tick off in my head. Shout out Chimmy, which is my girl. She's the biggest supporter of Vero, and she was there on our first probably our first 5 shoots she was a part of.
Dope.
She was literally like lifting gear and helping us set up and helping me plan on the back end. So she's been a big supporter of the growth of Vero and kind of where it is today. And it's funny enough, we met in university, and so it's like we have a similar mindset as when it comes to growth and developing a business and a company and that kind of thing. And it's dope because we can bounce ideas off of each other, and that's a big part of the growth of Vero. So shout out to her too, man. She's a huge part of the team, even though now she's like venturing off into real estate and growing in that space. But
relationship goals.
Heck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Build that huge business.
You know what? It's important to have somebody in your corner. You know what I mean?
Huge, man.
Yeah, it helps with your confidence and your growth, especially if they wholeheartedly support what you do and are willing to like just do whatever they can to help the vision. And that goes for everyone that's a part of the team. You know what I mean? Everyone has that sort of shared vision and want to grow as a filmmaker, and then we're just facilitating that too. And shout out the homie Legend too, man. He's an OG to me, bro. He's a crochet artist, and I don't know if you have met him at the event, but he's been a big part of my life. Met him in the later years, about 2 years now, but he's been huge support, huge help. He's been the reason why I've met certain people to get certain connections to do certain projects, as well as just the conversations we have are huge about life, perspective, and he's helped me grow as an individual from his perspective. So shout out to Legend, even though he doesn't like come on the shoots, but he's I'd say he's a big part of Vero as well.
Heavily affiliated.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Shout out Legend Nets.
I love that, man. Shout out to the team, man. I love showing love to the guys that are making it happen, you know?
Yeah.
Very, very important. Shout out Flygem too.
Oh,
shout out to homie Terrence.
That's the homie we're always calling him for drone work, so you know what it is. And that connection was put together by Vince. And shout out my homie Dante, bro. That's my dude since we were this tall. You know what I mean?
Love that.
He's always showing love and supporting. So, and I know he would like the shout out. So shout out my
man. There we go, man.
That's my best friend right there. So
shout out Dante, man. No, that's fucking awesome, man. And with Vero, we're approaching kind of the end of the year now.
Yeah.
What are year-end plans, New Year plans?
Yeah. Right now, it's a super busy time, so it's a lot of projects on the go. So we just wrapped up Advanced Music Canada, which is like a Black professional organization for artists, musicians, and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And so we did a 8-episode docuseries with them, which was crazy. It was the biggest project we've done so far.
Sick.
And it's the 3-camera setup, crazy lighting, and it was huge. But we're in the process of wrapping that up, and then we do some stuff with Milestones. We got some stuff with Quesada, Freshie, and then aside from like the brand stuff, the big name stuff, it's like I'm working on a couple of things. So the short film with CJ, Loophole. I'm working on another doc on a personal trainer in Toronto that has a beautiful story of resilience and growth. So we're going to be working on that end of November. The homie Albie also has a short film that he's working on that he wants me to DP, so we'll be doing that mid-November. And then closer to the end of the year, going into the new year, my homie Legend and I are planning a documentary on a prominent sort of fashion icon in the sort of hip hop space and stuff like that. I don't want to give away too much, but that's going to be something we're going to be working on too, and doing a documentary around that, and hopefully, an event. Let's just say.
Fuck yeah.
There's a lot in the works, and I was talking to the homie Albie yesterday actually, and he's like, "Yo, don't worry. Like in the next few weeks, you'll get a break." And I'm like, "Nah, like we're not taking a break.
Yeah.
Like, we're going, pedal to the metal right now. This is the time where." It's a growing phase. It's the phase where we're developing as a company. We're growing our vision and really putting it out and connecting with the people that can help us make that happen. So it's a pretty it's a special time, and I'm excited.
I'm excited for you, bro. I'm excited to be watching, to see it, building on that fucking momentum that you got going on.
Yeah.
Huge, man. You guys are an important resource, bro.
Yeah,
important for the city.
Yeah, I definitely need more teams out there that just take it away from yourself and focus on others for a bit. You can inspire a lot of change. And so funny enough, I don't know if I did mention this, but so Vero is going through some changes as well. Like, if anyone has watched the sort of trajectory of Vero, you'll notice there's been different areas of focus.
Right.
And really what that is me trying to figure out what my voice is when it comes to filmmaking, right? I can do the thing, right? I can create a story, I can put a doc together, I can put a commercial together, but what is our voice, right? Who do we want to speak to? Who do we want to service and help? And that's changed over the years. But a vision, not a vision, I guess God spoke to me a few nights ago, really, and the words... let me just think about it.
Yeah.
Before
Take
I pull
your
it
time,
on,
bro.
I wanna just word it correctly. But the words servicing, companies that aspire to impact change, that came to me. And I wrote it down. The next morning I got a call from somebody that's looking to do something huge in that direction. And I was like, only God can put something like that together. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The night before I spoke that and wrote it in my phone, because I was in my bed, like, couldn't write it down on a paper. But it seems like the projects that we're working on are pushing towards that direction. Working with companies and people that aspire to impact change in others. So
you're going down that direction, man, which means you're gonna attract people in that direction. I think.
Yeah,
I think
so.
It makes sense, bro.
But it took a while for me to kind of get to that. You know what
Sure.
I mean? And kind of even put that into words. Like I said, I've been trying to find my voice in filmmaking for a while, and I think I found it.
And just think of where you'll fucking be next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years, 5 years.
Yeah, man.
All part of that journey, man.
It is. And yeah, dude, like it's exciting. You know what I mean?
Exciting,
I
man.
said that it's super exciting to think about where you can be, what you can do, and who you can impact along the way. And so, yeah.
It's all you, bro. You go as far as you want to go.
Yeah.
Scary, and it's exciting.
Absolutely. Let me ask you though, like, what's your vision for Versatile Vigilante? I don't think I ever got to ask
Great question,
you that,
bro. Great question. Honestly, kind of along the lines of you of like, I would like to build this as a resource for the city for sure. For like, I already like what I'm doing, like having cool ass people come through and especially a lot of on the come up, getting the chance to say their piece.
Yeah.
But I do want to dive a little bit deeper into kind of the film world in a way of exploring. So a lot of the people that I've interviewed already, they do such cool shit. They're such cool people. Yeah. I don't want it to just be a one interview and then we never work together again. So what I'm thinking about in the new year, giving out a lot of spoilers, but like some of the people that I've worked with already that I love what they do and do interesting shit. Maybe do a little more behind the scenes of their world, you know. Maybe kind of like a documentary style,
Sick.
but I don't know if that's something you'd want to work on at some point.
Yeah.
I've got ideas. I won't give it away right now, but
Right.
I got it on my notes and shit.
That's dope.
But working with good people
Yeah.
is a big thing for me. Staying away from bad shit.
Yeah.
You know, trying to just positive, you know, be a good influence. You know what hit me recently, bro? I want to do shit that like my parents would like to see.
Sick.
You know, I'd want to
Sick.
do shit that like upstanding citizens would
Yeah.
respect, but still cool, still edgy. You know, we're
Yeah.
gonna swear, we're gonna talk our shit.
We're
We're still R-rated. I believe in R-rated,
Yeah.
but positive, bro. Like help someone,
Right.
you know. So
I think
just
that's
keep
dope.
pushing, bro. I might, you know what? You might not see interviews as consistently, maybe, but I will be, maybe.
Yeah.
I haven't decided, but I will be doing shit.
Yeah.
Like I will be pushing forward. Like I will be, you know
think
what I'm
that's
saying?
dope.
So
I think it's a dope follow up, especially to different people you've interviewed,
Yeah.
different touch points, to just get an idea of what their life is like outside of the conversation. Because there's so much that doesn't get said.
Exactly.
Doesn't get said, right? Like that happens, right? Seeing them in a studio setting or seeing them doing whatever they do, right?
I
think it's
fuck with good
cool.
visuals, you
Yeah,
know. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
just think there's visually so much cool. Like imagine like talk to a restaurant owner. You're in the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, you're in the fucking seating area. Like
Yeah.
visually, there's a lot to that.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? So, if you're down to work on some shit,
Yeah.
we'll put something together.
Yeah,
Get more details for you. But long story short, bro, just keep pushing, man.
that's what's up.
Positive shit. People like yourself, CJ, Terrence, like these are good ass guys.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
I don't want to be around. I don't want to be around ego.
Right.
You know, like it's a lot of
Facts,
what
bro.
It's
Yeah.
I know what I want. I also know what I don't want. Which
Right.
I think is important. You know.
Heck yeah, man.
I like that you mentioned the music world. Like a lot of that, it just kind of turns me off a little bit. Like
Yeah.
you're playing a character.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, I try not to be. I like characters when they're being themselves.
Right.
I don't
right.
want a fictional character.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's huge that you mentioned that. Like it. Yeah, there's a lot of characters in the music industry, and it's a part of feeling like that's what you have to do to get on. And I feel like sometimes with music, it's like it's always a chase of getting on. Versus when you're just kind of doing your own thing, like whether it's growing your business or whatever, nothing against artists, but it's like, it's more of a for sure thing. Like if you're creating value for somebody else, like people are going to invest in that. If there is a issue that you're solving, people are going to pay for that, and you can grow in that space. And so with music specifically as an artist, it's tough because there's an abundance of music. It isn't a need in the sense of like a business sense. There isn't a need where it's like there's an issue that you're solving. There's a lot of great music.
Yeah.
Right? There's no shortage of that. So it's like, how do you get people to pay attention? So it's like you have to become this character, which sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like if people could be a little more in tune with themselves, they'll realize that there's more that they can do outside of
100%, bro.
right?
To be honest, sorry to cut you off there.
It's all good, bro.
I honestly feel like it's starting in this world as well. Like a lot of the podcasts that everyone's got a podcast now, you know, and a lot of the ones I see, I'm like, I can't, like, this is not, like, yo, you're just reaching for clickbait. You're just reaching for drama. And like, that is not what I'm trying to do. So that's kind of why I said maybe I take a step back from this type of format for a little while to go do some other shit.
Right.
You know, see what I can do, challenge myself.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it too, I don't want to get too comfortable in one thing.
True.
You know, if I can do this, awesome. But I'm not done.
There's more.
There's more to do, bro. More to fail at.
Yeah. Heck
You know?
yeah. Fail forward, man.
Fuck yeah.
I think it was Pharrell that said it. Like, as creatives, we're not good at just one thing. Like, we're good at a lot of things, right? It's like if you can tap into different things, you can utilize. There's like skill sets that you take from one thing can be applied to others.
Exactly.
Right? And so that's how you can get
Transferable
really,
skills.
That was the word I was looking for. Transferable skills. That's exactly what it is. Is like, you know, if you're an artist, you may be a great creative director or a visionary for something else. Or just, if you're even a hustler, like a trapper.
Real shit.
You're an entrepreneur,
Making
bro.
stuff
Like,
happen.
You're like, it's illegal, but you're an entrepreneur. Like, you see a demand, and you're creating the supply for the demand. So why not do that in a legal sense?
Yeah,
It's
just
something
switch
else.
the product.
Switch the product. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You already have the know-how, the understand, the business acumen. Switch the product, go legal, and now you can grow and scale as much as you want, right? And so, yeah, it's just important, bro. I think
It is. I think it's just overcoming. Like, even for me, I know that, like, I'm going to fail at whatever that next step is,
Yeah.
but you keep going, you will succeed.
yeah.
Like,
that's
you just,
what it
I
is.
think it's just being okay with failure and keep going.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
fail
saying?
early if you can.
Exactly.
Fail early, bro. Like,
Exactly.
like we're so caught up with like what the world will think. It's like, what's Instagram gonna think or YouTube? It's
gives
like,
a
bro,
fuck?
who cares? You don't have to post everything on Instagram and YouTube.
Real shit.
Fail and be quiet if you want, or fail in public and let people see your journey, whatever that looks like. But it's okay to fail because out of that comes growth. It comes learning. I never call a failure. Like or L and L. Sorry, it's not a loss for me. It's a learning. You know, it's a learning thing that happened. Like,
Yep.
what did I learn?
A lesson.
From that? It's a lesson, right? It's not a loss. It's a lesson. And if we can take the time to just kind of look at our world like that and look at our processes like that, I feel like, yeah, we can grow a lot as people and as creatives and all these kinds of things. So it's very important to fail forward, fail early, and look at these losses as lessons, and what can you take from that to apply to the next experience.
Completely agree, bro. Completely agree. Well said, man. You're a well-spoken guy. I really fucking enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah,
we're over
likewise.
an hour. Time
Holy.
flies when we're having fun,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
I want to give you a chance. Anything you want to promote, plug, Instagram, fucking websites, floor is yours.
Damn. Yeah, check out Vero Media, our website, veromediasolutions.com.
What's your IG?
Check out Film at Nate.
There we go. Film and
That's
Nate.
the IG, and if you want to check us out on IG as well, it's Veromedia_. We got a couple films, documentaries coming out. We like to tell people stories, and so yeah, look out for those and connect with me if you want to learn more about filmmaking or that's something you're interested in, because we're always looking to grow the team and kind of figure out kind of helping other people out and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I never thought of what I'd plug, but I guess
That's perfect, bro.
That's it there. Yeah.
Follow Film and Nate, man. Shout out Vero Media.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what you got coming, bro. You always got something. Very, very excited. Really appreciate your time. It's an awesome conversation, bro. Shout out Nate. Shout out CJ. Shout out everybody,
Shout out
man.
everyone, man. Shout out the team.
Versatile. Shout out the team. Versatile Vigilante. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's fucking get it, bro.
Thank you for having me.
2023.